You feel so bad for her, don't you? Being caught in the middle of this. What must that be like? Let's take a moment and remember, victims on a criminal case can often be in the defendant's own family. Depending upon the defendant's conduct, they can not only victimize someone else who's listed as the primary victim on an indictment, but they can victimize their own family members just by putting them through what we're seeing this poor sister be put through. Let's talk about that. Let's bring in law enforcement expert and trial consultant, our friend Sunny Slaughter. Sunny, good morning to you. I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts on this, please.
Good morning, Julie. I do. You know, we talk about direct victims, and I've been using this terminology for years, direct victims and indirect victims. And this young lady is an indirect victim, as you described earlier, of a criminal case that she had no idea was ongoing. And she's very isolated and insulated in this because it involves her mother and her brother-in-law. So these are very close connections that have now been frayed in a way that is hard to repair and hard to comprehend when you think about victimization and the damage that will go on through the threads of these individuals' entire lives. They are forever changed. And no one wants to be a witness to violence, but no one wants to be a witness to the long-term impact that this is going to have, having to testify against your brother, your mother, and what happened to your brother-in-law. As she said, she's devastated. And we should all think about that when we think about the consequences of people's actions that last long beyond what we see right now.
So true, Sunny, so true. Innocent people like Rachel Jorgensen victimized for a lifetime. As you said, this isn't just today in the trial in the courtroom. No, this is for the rest of her life. And if she has, her own family someday and needs to explain that to, her children or her grandchildren, the fracturing that went on that was through no fault of her own, it's really, really terrible. Sunny, so glad you're here. Stand by, please. We're going to hit our first break of the hour. When we come back, we got more of the cross-examination, unaired footage for you all this hour as we get ready for court to start up at 11 a.m. Eastern.
What are you reporting?
Fire.
The tragic murder of Keith Canero and his entire family.
The defendant repeatedly shot and killed his brother and then moved to murder the rest of the family inside the home.
Their sprawling mansion set on fire.
Paul and Keith were not only brothers but business partners.
This one is the most brutal case that I've seen in my experience here.
The Mansion Murders Trial. Live coverage today on Court TV.
We're in Utah, quite a messed up trial situation. We've got 3 family members indicted, one of them going to trial now by himself. Sister testified against him already. Mom's trial's coming up, and we got another sister who had nothing to do with anything in question being cross-examined. Let's go back in now to the family murder plot case.
Sorry, and I'm going to do my best to minimize these topics.
It's okay.
And I don't want to be unfair in bringing them up because a lot of the answers, of course, would be obvious.
Okay.
Well, it'd be obvious for a person like you.
Okay.
Once this all came out and you learned all of this, again, did you feel betrayed by your mother?
Yes.
You heard the testimony about Kate saying that your mom actually, as part of this whole thing, thought she could use Kevin's mental issues, emotional issues, and things in order to get him to do something, right?
Yes.
Or, in fact, in order to trick him to do something, right?
Yes.
Did you see that dynamic? And let me back up. Let me just set some more framework. At the time, Kevin's kind of living a deadbeat existence at the house, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think that he was employed, and so he was just going out and playing pool in the evenings and coming back and having a really chill daytime. So yeah, I feel like he wasn't contributing very much to the household.
And I don't want to make you dump on your brother or anything, but the reality of the situation there is your mom took care of him, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Did you know that, for instance, she even would be the one who would give him cash for his pool tournaments and stuff?
Yes, I did know that.
Take him to sushi.
Yes.
You hear Kate describe what apparently is the state's theory, or at least in her claims, that your mom took Kevin to sushi within hours of Matt coming over to lay the final plans to involve Kevin in murdering Matt. And that it didn't change his demeanor at all. He seemed happy.
Yes, I did hear her testify to that.
Would that surprise you, given everything you know about your brother? That he would be happy after learning that he was going to be part of a murder plot?
Yes, that would be shocking.
You also learned through the course of the events of the case, and as information spilled out and all through this process, that Kevin apparently used a bunch of cocaine the night of the shooting, prior to it anyway.
Yes, I did learn that.
Did that surprise you?
Yes, I was surprised by that.
Now, granted, you're not part of his everyday life or anything, but is there anything that you had seen in Kevin's behavior in his life, at least in the, say, month or two prior to this event, that would have suggested to you in any way that Kevin was engaged in cocaine use?
No, I never had any suspicions of that. I knew he drank alcohol, but I'd seen him pretty frequently leading up to the event since I would go over there once a week, and I was completely shocked hearing that, or reading it, I guess. I think I found out on reading news articles.
Originally?
Yes,
But,
originally.
I mean, you've seen court proceedings,
Yes.
you saw these proceedings, right?
Yes.
And I mean, just even today, you were present when in toxicology talked about how people act when they're high on cocaine, right?
I can't remember if I was actually present for that part
Okay.
or not, but yes.
Sorry.
But yes, I do know that it's been common knowledge and discussed. And
Okay. I didn't know if you were there for that. I'm sorry about that. And I suppose everybody has varying ability to have life experiences that make them feel like they know
Excuse me.
what cocaine users look like. But to whatever extent you feel like you know that, you never felt like you saw
No.
signs of that. I want to, while we're on that topic, and given what you've been able to see, process about this case, learn about it in the role that the government has invited you to play in it over these months, it became known, officially known, something about your mother, right?
Yes.
That throughout this time, your mother was involved in the sex trade.
Yes.
In this what? Sex trade. That having a licensed massage therapy business was something she truly had. She had a license, right?
Yeah, as far as I knew, she was the licensed massage therapist.
But in fact, at least some, if not the bulk of what she did, went beyond just massage, and she engaged in sexual activity with quote-unquote clients, right?
Yes.
It's also been learned that, well, that was never something that was made formally known to you and your family. Is that true?
Correct. Like, I had suspicions growing up, but never addressed them to her and never sought to seek out if that was true officially.
And it's also become knowledge, and you know that your mother had what she called a studio, right?
Yes.
And that now we know that that's where those things occurred.
Yeah, it's my understanding that it was actually an apartment where she would continue that work.
Did she call the studio?
Yes, that was referred to as her studio.
So during these times and these months, individuals in that world, if you were involved frequently with your mother. You've learned that, right?
Yes.
And you've learned that your mother had run-ins with the law and criminal convictions and arrests and things like that, right?
Yes.
Did you know about that?
I knew of a few small things here and there. I know that she had, I believe, some time in jail when I was younger for theft, but I don't feel like I found out much about that until I was much older. But I knew she did have some sort of history with, I don't know how you want to word it, but yeah, she did have a history of breaking the law.
Having arrests, convictions, jail time, things
Yes.
like that. Now, some of that, when you learned about it, you learned it happened back in California, right?
Yes.
Did you know about her criminal justice system arrests and cases here in Utah?
No.
Again, I kind of think I said I wouldn't do this as much as I hoped I didn't need to with you. But knowing what you know now, do you feel like your mom lived a double life?
Yeah.
That's fine, you've answered. I don't want to put you through anymore.
Okay.
Let's save that. I don't want to do that now. I want to do her. I don't want to make sure. Well, I've just done that to her. Okay. Just want to walk through some of these events that have to do with some of the things that you were actually expecting to be presenting evidence on today, and the things leading up to Kate taking off and running away, and things leading up to the night of the shooting. Okay?
Yes.
And I hope this will be easier on you. This is the stuff you were allowed to practice for,
Yes.
to an extent. As things fell apart between Matt and Kate, it became known even before Kate ran away on the 20th to all you sisters and stuff that she was going to try to break from this marriage, right?
Yeah, I didn't know exactly when, but I just knew it was a matter of time before they would end up separating.
So when we saw and you were walked through...
Oh, we got a little bombshell here, didn't we? With her dropping the bomb through this cross that mom was involved in the sex trade business, apparently owned a massage parlor, did have a license to work as a masseuse, but as defense counsel drew out, much of the work being done there was illegal type work in the sex trade. Wow, this is big stuff. This counsel for Mr. Ellis is doing a great job because he's making mom look really, really, really bad. My guess is that they're going to do some more finger pointing at mom as this case rolls on. So we'll hit pause right here. You won't miss a minute. We'll be right back with more Court TV.
That's did not make me feel good. It's scary and it's
Take your time.
that's intimidating.
Did you think you were assisting your mom and your sister in luring someone to their death?
No.
Oh, this sweet, innocent woman has been a victim of the circumstances she's been put in because her brother, her sister, and her mother are all indicted in the family plot murder case in Utah. So her brother's the one on trial. Mom is set to go to trial later. Sister pleaded out, turned state's evidence. Brother's being accused of conspiring with mother and a different sister to murder that sister's brother-in-law, or that sister's husband, excuse me, Matthew Restelli. So this defendant, Kevin Ellis, is saying that it wasn't a murder plot at all, that it was a self-defense situation. So why this innocent sister has to be brought in is because of what she may know that may help substantiate this plot to kill that brother-in-law to her. So let's go back in now where we left off. We're on the cross.
So when we saw and you were walked through some of these communications and phone call timings and stuff like about setting up and getting to know she had a storage unit and was gonna maybe leave and come to Utah. Some of those communications happened before the 20th of June. Prosecutors pointed that out, right?
Yeah, I don't recall exactly, but it's fair to say that we definitely had, we definitely had conversations
I mean,
prior.
I think when we went through them, some of them, for instance, were on the 16th of June, stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, isn't it true that what you sisters were talking about and texting about were knowing that was going to happen and quite frankly, help her if she wanted to do that, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Your understanding that you had been left with about her marriages largely came from her.
Yes.
You certainly didn't talk to Matt about it.
No, I did not.
And so she led you to believe, and she described to you this awful existence where she hated her life and that Matt was really mean and awful to her and things like that, right?
Yes.
Now, you did testify to knowing some features about their relationship and some features about Matt that was part of that dynamic, right?
Yes.
For instance, that they'd fight,
Yes.
that they would fight in front of the children,
Yes, they would.
that it was unhealthy and toxic. And I'm guessing that Kate's version to you was probably pretty one-sided?
Yeah.
And you
yes.
would expect so?
Yes.
But she's certainly laying it on thick when she's communicating with you all and how she wants to be done with it
Yes.
and get physically away from California over the whole thing.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not like you learn all of a sudden on the 20th and then we would have communications. You knew a little bit leading up to the 20th.
Yes.
You just didn't know exactly when.
No, I knew that there was a very loose plan, and then, yes, we just saw it come together. And
Did you know, I mean, at the time that what we know now, that Tara Lynn, since she's in California, really helped with the logistics?
yes, I don't remember seeing a lot of the logistics together, but I had also kind of assumed she was getting help from Tara, knowing that they were so close and so local to each other.
So is it true that while you knew this was in the breach, in the offing, so to speak, how it all transpired with her taking the truck and the kids meeting Tara, getting the stuff out of the storage, and heading to Utah, you didn't know that was going to be the day and the time?
No, I didn't know until, I actually don't know exactly when I was told Kate was coming out, but yeah.
And maybe the way you're talking, the way you guys text each other, all that stuff, isn't it fair to say that you probably knew that day as it was transpiring?
Yes, we were communicating and getting Snapchats of updates of things getting loaded, or look how empty the storage unit's getting. I remember getting a Snapchat of it being empty at one point, I think.
So you guys are back and forth. I mean, this is kind of... I don't know how this would be taken. I'm old, and I don't relate. But reality communications and sort of real-time enacting of everyone's lives on social media and on the text and stuff is something I certainly absolutely don't understand. But it seems to be a real part of our society now. Is that kind of what it was like? Is everybody keeping each other up to it and commenting on it?
Yeah, we had a family Snapchat group that had everybody, like my immediate family to my aunt, or my cousins, so my aunt's children. Matt was included, Tara Lynn's husband. So you could look at the Snapchat and kind of get a little catch-all of what's going on with everybody to get a quick brief.
And I guess while you guys are commenting on that, unlike the Real Housewives of some state or other, you don't really know that it's all going to become public today and shown to a jury.
No, you don't expect that.
And you're commenting to each other. You just sort of, fair to say it's sister to sister, pretty gossipy, is that fair to say?
Yes, I feel like that's fair. You're saying stuff in confidence, thinking you've got privacy.
My friends, I have to tell you, I am up for any line of questioning that involves the Real Housewives. Just saying, love the shows. All right, let's get down to business with what this witness is talking about. Let's bring in Sunny Slaughter, our law enforcement guest analyst. Sunny, how about you? First question. You love the Housewives, right? Yeah, no, I'm kidding. You're laughing.
Oh my God.
You're so cute. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
No.
Yeah, my son was the roommate with one of the women of medicine housewives. So when he was at Howard, one of their sons were. So that is my background with the housewives. But
no, that's very cute. You have to tell your son it came up on the show today. So the bombshell, I want to talk to you about, Sunny, just backing the truck up a little bit. Mom. So Mom here, who we know is indicted, going to trial, said to be part of this plot, apparently was involved in the sex trade business too with her massage parlor. Well, that was some juicy stuff coming out. What did you think when you heard that?
So initially I was like, okay, she's on the stand. She's very emotional. And I'm sure the team behind the scenes were like, calm down, Sunny. Because I was like, okay, what is this questioning for? Get her off the witness stand. And I'm the person that usually works for the defense. And then I realized, oh, okay. All right, so now it kind of makes sense. Mom was a gangster, literally. Mom had a lot going on. She was doing a lot behind the scenes. And she is a master manipulator, i.e., the old girl that just got, convicted, who gasped in court, that other person, Dan Markel's master manipulator mom. So this all now makes sense. Let me get to the point. This all now makes sense. And this plot was very strategic, methodical, and she was okay and has been okay reeling in family members to end the life of an individual, and particularly how she reeled in her own daughter, this young lady on the witness stand who had no idea. Yes, she understood that her mom had some criminal history in her background, but I don't think she ever believed that her mother would rope her in unknowingly into a murder plot, and now she's on the witness stand having to to testify. These are critical this is critical information. It's now going to make sense, and it will now culminate into what the trial looks like for mom.
Yes, Sunny Slaughter, I'm making an early call that you had the line of the day this morning here on Court TV Live, that mom was a gangster. Hit us up on social media. Let us know if you agree with Sunny's hot take. More coming up straight ahead here on